Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck to Sim live stream. Today it's the 30th of April 2021, 33 minutes past 8 in the evening here in the United Kingdom. Back in X-Plane 11 and finally flying the much anticipated Just Flight Professional BAE 146. I think the developer's called Franda Designs as well. Really been looking forward to the release of this aircraft. And there was only one sector we were ever going to do when this first aircraft was going out, and that was to do something into London City. And Dublin to London City was served by the BAE 146 frequently, so we're going to be replicating that flight today. We are offline just because it's kind of my first ever time streaming this aircraft. Yeah, you're not doing that today. Last time we went to London City, Mariana decided to jump on me and tickle me. Who put you up to saying that? Unbelievable. Anyway, so we're going to be taking the 146 from Dublin to London City, flight time of 1 hour, showing everything this aircraft has to offer. Got the aircraft yesterday. I've been practicing, I've been learning about it, speaking to one of the devs, speaking to someone who was also involved with making a 146 previously for an older simulator. I can't remember who else made a 146 for FSX or something. So I've got some great tips on how the autopilot work, the TMS system, and I'll do my absolute best to get you safely from A to B. It's going to be a lot of fun, and then of course the famous 5.5 degree ILS into Dublin. It's going to be very exciting indeed. We are live weather. We are 12 hours behind live time, so right now in the sim it's 8:30 in the morning because we need to enjoy that beautiful scenery of Ortho 4XP and True Earth Orbex as well. Avadad Gaming, welcome aboard. Glad you joined the content. You get invited to the members only Discord. Enjoy using your custom emojis chat as well. Thank you so much. Who we got here then? We have Phasio Nasir, Noah B, Planey, David Ryder, Listerman, Domino Mosina, and DM71's here. He says, evening all. Laura says, be right back. I'm going to get a shot of Irish whiskey. Enjoy. Good to see you here anyway. Thank you very much. Look, we're not in an Alpaca Airways livery. Believe it or not, so, my main livery maker, Jamlin, even offered to get you a livery ready for today, but I really wanted to replicate the Aer Lingus or a BA sector into London City. So next time we'll fly this aircraft, which won't be too far away because I don't want to forget everything I've learned in the past 24 hours. We'll be taking an Alpaca Airways 4-engine BAE 146. But here she is, the Whisper Jet, as it's well known as. It's got 5 APUs, otherwise it's pretty much a glider, no engines on it. Very, very fun learning how to fly it the last 24 hours. Very underpowered, especially above 20,000 feet. Really slow on the climb rate as well. But great short takeoff and landing performance. I mean, this has such a large surface area wing compared to the size of the entire aircraft with the flaps out. I mean, the approach speed, we're going to be fully loaded today with 120 passengers. It's still around 125 knots. It's a very capable aircraft getting into short fields, which it was designed to do. But unfortunately, a dying aircraft. Won't be many of these flying around in the future there. Guess the Mystery says, I don't think Aer Lingus Regional ever got their BAEs. I think they went out of production before they were delivered. I could be wrong now. Was it an Aer Lingus subsidiary that flew this aircraft? I can't exactly remember. Or CityJet. Well, I think they're a different airline. I think they're owned by Scandi now, but I'm not too sure about it. But no, it's going to be great fun flying this aircraft here today. Anyway, before we jump in and get the show on the road, I want to do a little bit of an external walk around because we've got plenty of time today. I'm not online. We're going to do a full setup following the tutorial, or the tutorial flight included with the documentation. But yeah, just have a look at the exterior model. My general overview of this aircraft was, well, before it was released, there was sort of some mixed reviews coming out, but I have to say, I think I'm pretty impressed with it. There seems to be so much modelled. All the systems seem to be nicely modelled as well. It has got the stock X-Plane FMC, but I do understand Just Flight are going to be making their own custom FMS to come out with this aircraft, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, what a beast. You can see that the dihedral of the wing with these 4 tiny little engines. I don't even know who makes them. They make about a fifth of the amount of thrust a 737 does, or maybe even less than that, but very nicely detailed. Going for a little walk around here with the wing too. The aircraft is definitely a unique one. Absolutely, Arjen, absolutely here. But there you are, the end of the wing. You can see all the static wicks here. Very short and stubby. But what I really like about this aircraft is the landing gear. It's just It looks like a work of art. I mean, the way they designed this, I think everyone here has probably seen that video on YouTube of that BAE 146 landing in London City. Well, I wouldn't call it a landing, I'd call it more like a controlled crash. Landed at around 1,000 feet per minute. I think it was a Swiss Air BAE 146. I mean, it's such a stocky aircraft with such strong landing gear. But yeah, a beautiful external model, very impressive. I love the Aer Lingus livery as well. It looks very, very nice here. I was about to say then about the landing gear. Yes, I'm sure most of you, if you haven't referenced it, go have a look on YouTube at the London City approach in this aircraft. I think it was a Swiss Air BAE 146. Their landing was pretty impressive. I certainly wouldn't want to be making my way out of the flight deck had I landed like that. But yeah, very nice external model. You'll see I have all the cargo doors opening as we'll be loading shortly. There's stubby gear, and then obviously this side of the wing all looking identical to the other side. But yes, we'll imagine the walk-around's done. 2 wings, 4 engines in this case, 6 wheels. Is it 6 wheels? Yes, there's 2 on each one there. That's pretty much what the walk-around is, but make sure there's no digs and dents too. Excellent. Anyway, let's jump back into the cockpit. There we go. So I'll turn the music right down here. So as I said, I'm going to be following the included tutorial, which is based on a different sector, but it sort of follows the correct flow to get everything set up. I'll be making some adjustments based on some questions and things I found out about this aircraft to the tutorial. For example, in the tutorial, it has you completing a kind of bleeds off takeoff, but we'll turn the APU off and do a bleeds on takeoff here today. Right, so let's have a look here then. So the first thing I need to do is get some electrical power. So I'll put the battery on. I love this. It sounds like a school bell ringing. Listen. Oh, no, not a school bell. You know when you open a shop door and you get that little dinging sound? That's exactly what it sounds like. It's absolutely wicked. So we've got the batteries on. So we have the aircraft powered here. First thing we want to do is check the voltage. So if we go here to battery 1 or battery 2, make sure you have a minimum of 24 volts, which we do have. But you'll notice the battery is currently discharging. We have no power to the aircraft. So I have connected the external power, which you can do on here in this little menu. Don't press that because that'll change your aircraft from cold and dark to engines running and vice versa. No, it's not that menu. It's here on my little iPad. There you go, so you can see I've got the GPU connected. We'll talk about the fuel, stairs and aircraft configs all set there. So get the external power connected, so external power on. And there you go, you can see that the battery's no longer discharging because it's fully charged. Look, the amps have gone to 0 there, so that's pretty neat there. Alan Hughes was hoping to watch this live, but visitors have just turned up. We'll catch up later. Oh dear, Alan. Go shivering them out the door, no doubt. Thank you very much for popping in, and hope to see you shortly. Hamza says, is Mario going to intervene on the final approach? Absolutely not. I've told her not to today, specifically. And I also did the practice approach into London City on Discord earlier, streaming to some of the guys. I got a butter minus 35. No word of a lie. You're all going to accuse me of lying for sure, but no, we'll have some witnesses, I hope, still here. But we did manage to do that earlier. So we've got battery on, GPUs connected to the aircraft there. It talks about how lots of master warning systems would go up. It's such a massive... Now, what did I just flick here? That's the problem. There's so many switches here. If you use your scroll wheel to zoom in, you accidentally flick a switch as well. I heard myself flick something. I hope it wasn't important. Anyway, we'll never know. So yeah, we'll check all there. It mentions about the master warning system. You'll have various master warning lights illuminated because you've just powered up the aircraft. We need to configure it for takeoff here as well. It says to make sure the gear lever's down, we have 3 green lights, which they are all indicated. Then it says go to the very top of the overhead panel, which is just here. Turn on all the master switches. So we have yaw dampers on, autopilot master switches, and avionics master switches. They are all turned on. Just put a little bit of music on in the background as well, so we're setting up. Moving down, it says turn on the anti-skid and lift spoilers. So anti-skid is already on, and lift spoilers are on as well. Carrying on down here, move to the electrical panel, which is just here. It says set both bus tie switches to auto. They are both in auto. Set the standby inverter and generator to arm. There we are. So standby generator and the... Sorry, let me just read that again. Move the electric panel, both first breakers to auto, set the standby inverter and the generator standby generator to arm. That's done. So the aircraft has 4 engines, but only 2 of the engines provide electrical power, and I think 2 of the engines provide the hydraulic systems. There's 2 primary hydraulic systems, yellow and green there. For redundancy, I don't know what they have with regards to hydraulics, if it's some sort of manual reversion system, but we'll keep an eye out for anyone in chat who might be able to answer any of those questions today. Switch on the fuel pumps for the APU. Left it is out as the only one required for the APU, but we'll turn them all on because we're needing that for the engine to start. It says in the tutorial to start the APU now, so I am going to be following the guidance here, so we'll do that. You simply move this switch to start. There we are. APU low oil pressure, and you can hear the, or you can see the RPM increasing and the TGT if we look outside here. You can hear it booting up. Got the sounds turned quite low there. There you are. So the APU's nestled in the in the tail cone here. There's the APU exhaust. It does boot up really quickly, I've noticed. There we are. So APU power is available. We've already put the APU power on, I think. There we are. No, we haven't. APU generator's now on. And all I need to do then is disconnect the external power. So if I move the external power switch to off, and you can see, look, the battery's still it's not discharging, so we have the APU connected, and we can disconnect it now as well. There we are. So GPU's disconnected, we're on the APU power, and the battery's showing negative charge. We could also go over to APU generator, 400 Hz and 115 volts. Looks like we're getting all the AC power we need. Laura says the APU is very efficient and generally meant for airports without ground power. Not sure London City originally had any. Okay. Well, if the APU goes inoperative, hopefully the airport will have at least some electrical power on standby. Otherwise, you're screwed. I've had that before where the APU's failed, but most of the time airports have a ground card, a GPU card available. But then again, I don't go to airports where sometimes only the BAE 146 goes into. Right, APU's up and running. It says on the air supply switch, turn the APU bleed on. So APU's on, and turn on the packs. We're now going to get air-conditioned air into the cabin. There we are. Can you hear that coming in? Great sounds in this aircraft. Lots of dings, bells, noises of the engines, air conditioning systems. Really, really immersive. Do like that. Right, so we've got air-conditioned air coming into the cabin. It says test the MWS switch, master warning system. Make sure you have your lights and the master caution fire warning lights illuminated. Now, I don't know if this is a bit of a bug. It says here in the tutorial, test various systems here. Now, I was playing with this yesterday. I did the APU overspeed test with the APU running. It cut off the APU as if it did genuinely overspeed. It could be that the real aircraft, if you do run the APU overspeed test with it running, it will cut it. But don't push that, otherwise you'll lose the APU. And you won't be able to restart it. But yes, you've got all your engine fire tests. Look, sounds like telephone ringing. And my favourite is the stall warning one. It sounds like an A10 Warthog minigun. Listen to this stall warning. Here it is. Sorry, headphone users. Yes, it's also been strafed with a minigun cannon, but very nice. Love doing that. On the hydraulic power panel, we need to set the AC pump to on. Which is here. That's going to pressurise the yellow hydraulic system. We now need to turn on the power transfer unit, and that is using yellow hydraulic pressure, from the yellow system to pressurise the green system. So essentially, I guess in the event of a loss of green pressure, you can use the PTU to ensure you have hydraulics for the green system. That's my only guess. Right, we'll turn that off now. It's just a test, and also turn off the AC pump as well. Moving down the lower lighting panel, it says arm the flight deck emergency lighting. So that is here. And before I forget, it's not included on the checklist, put the cabin emergency lighting to arm, which it is. No smoking on, and the seatbelt sign on too, which is there. Perfect. Hamza, was that a blender? Brilliant. It sounds like a massive drill, said Jacob Plus. Yes. Sounds like a chainsaw, said Connor Martin. Listen to all those noises, I feel like I'm in a submarine. Unbelievable there. Lauren, yellow hydraulic pump for PTU. It is an Airbus after all. Debatable. It's the least Airbusy aircraft I've flown. It's very different. Very different. Right. moving down the lighting panel, we've done that. Turn on the yaw damper switches, which are here, yaw damper 1 and 2. And then it says check the oxygen regulator panel, which is here. So you can move this switch here to check the passenger supply. And you can then obviously test each pilot's independent oxygen mask by moving that to test, making sure you have the valve open here. We'll check mine as well. Forgot to mention, you get a gym with the BAE 146, and he's far chattier than he is in other aircraft. Very useful, in fact. So it helps with the flap retraction, when to put the gear up and when to extend flaps, which is really nice touch by the guys at Just Flight. So that's done. Aircraft's now ready for boarding. We'll imagine we've started that there. Now do the before start checklist. So confirm the thrust levers are in the fuel off position. So there's no start levers in this aircraft. It's sort of like the CRJ, off, and then you move the lever to on to bring the fuel into the engines when the N2 reaches 15%. So that's done. Confirm the thrust levers are in fuel off. Confirm that all hydraulics are off, which they are. We just completed that test and we have low pressure for both the yellow and green system. On the fuel panel, set the center tank transfer switch to auto. So that is in auto. Oh no, that's the AC pump. Be careful. Center tank transfer switch to auto is this one. Now for this sector, we've got no fuel in the center tank, and we've got 2.5 tons either side. I'm taking exactly what the SimBrief flight plan profile says. Now set the pressure altitude on the overhead pressurization panel. So we're going to be cruising at 25,000 feet today. So we'll set that to 25,000 feet. That's going to be a cabin altitude of 6,000 feet. Now, I forgot to mention, we're actually in an updated version of the BAE 146. The release version, version 1, has already been updated twice. We're on version 1.02 today. A few bug fixes. That's really positive to see. They've been very quick to make those changes. One of the things they've fixed, I can't find the display here, but they've turned off the window and instrument reflections, which were a little bit kind of exasperated, you know, a bit too much, but I've turned them off now, so the instruments are very black, easier to read here, so that's a nice little touch too. But advised to see that they're already updating it and fixing it. Let's hope they keep that up and listen to the feedback and keep improving the product. That'll be great. I'm sure they'll be keeping on top of it there. Right, pressurization set. Moving down to the ice protection panel, set the ice detector switch to on. I think it's on by default, so we'll leave that there. On the center panel, confirm you have sufficient fuel for your flight. So if I bring up that flight plan, fuel we need today is 5.2 tons. I have fueled for I think it was 5.3, so you can see here we have slightly more than that. In fact, the exact figure will be, not that one, sorry. Let's try and remember all these click spots. 2640 either side, so it's about 5.3. So standard block fuel. Weather's nice in London City, and we'll see how the fuel, make sure it's close to the flight plan there. Right, so we've done that. We have sufficient fuel. Over on the first officer side panel, check that the date is displayed correctly on the flight data recorder. So today it's the 30th of April. We have 30th of April, 01 for Sector 1, and then I think you can put here your flight number or ident or something like that. I'm not going to bother. But we have the date and flight number, which is 01. On the transponder panel, set your flight number. So to do that, you move this to FD, and then you type in your call sign. So we're going to be the Shamrock 01. So it's sort of like the old telephones, you know, where you text people with a numeric keypad, which is pretty cool. So Echo, and then you have to push Enter. India. Not that it makes any difference, but we'll put it in. And then we'll put that back to ATC, and then you put your squawk in there. So that's pretty cool. That's done. Now, what we need to set now is something called the TMS, which stands for Thruster Management System. The BAE 146 doesn't have an auto throttle, but it has this TMS system, and what it does, it fine-tunes the thrust to ensure that you get your target N1 or your target EGT temperature, or in descent it'll make sure it has a minimum amount of N2 to ensure that the aircraft can stay pressurised. Yeah, it's a bit of a cronker, this one. Basically, if you have idle thrust at high altitude in descent, there isn't enough bleed air to pressurise the aircraft, so it'll ensure that in descent mode that it'll have a minimum amount of N2. And then I wrote this down in the manual. For descent, it said when you're descending and you're above flight level 250, have a minimum of 70% N2. From 25,000 to flight level so flight level 250 to flight level 200, a minimum of 65% N2, and then below flight level 200 you can make the take the thrust all the way to idle. So that's pretty cool. But the TMS system can help manage that. Right, so we're going to power it on, do a self-test check. So it does lots of checks in the background here. Numbers are illuminated, 88.8, and then that doesn't take too long. I think all the lights illuminate. And for this, we need to find out what the weather's doing. So right now in Dublin, very nice evening, 090 at 6 knots. So we'll be taking off from runway 09. It's 8 degrees, QNH is 1017. So the information we need is it's 8 degrees outside. So we'll put that to 0, put that to 8 degrees. Press the takeoff button, and then you get your reference thrust. And this, I think, is full rated thrust based on 8 degrees. It does come with some charts and tables to calculate your reduced thrust setting, and I guess you could put the assumed temperature in here to reduce that M1, but we're going to take full rated thrust based on 8 degrees here. So it says what you need to do is set, bit of a pain this one, you get the 92.9 here, and now you need to set those bugs all manually on the N1 reference bug, so bear with me here. Someone talked about reverse thrust, said Steve Jacobson. No, there's no reverse thrust on this aircraft at all. That N1, sorry, was 92.9, so we'll set that to 93. There's 1, 2. What would be a neat feature is if they had a sync feature. I know it was not realistic, but the same way it's in a lot of payware aircraft or even the Zebo, you know, you can sync like barometric altitudes and this. I mean, yes, it's not realistic, but it does make your life much easier. Yes, so the TGT temperature, there's a minimum temperature exceedance that you can have in the climb here. So maximum TGT in the climb is 840 degrees. I think that's by default. It says you have to vary it based on external parameters, but I'm going to leave it 840, and then we have to set 840 in each of these. So it's a bit of a pain, but being led to believe that's how they would do it. So 840, 840. Only 2 more to go. 840 and 840. There we go. Cool. So the TMS will not set a higher thrust setting than that. And what happens is you just set takeoff power, you move the thrust levers forward up to a point, and then the TMS system takes over and fine-tunes each independent engine, each independent thrust lever to get your target N1 for takeoff or your target TGT. It's pretty cool there. Perfect. What else? Any more questions here? Toga says, wow, that's insane. Not enough bleed air in the descent to idle. Yes, above 20,000 feet, so you have to ensure that you have a minimum amount of N2. I mean, the 737, definitely not the case, but there are certain non-normal situations where I think if you have departed with a pack inoperative or one of the bleed air systems inoperative and you're using engine anti-ice, you have to make sure you have a minimum N1 percentage. The same in the 146. If you're using engine anti-ice, engine and wing anti-ice uses bleed air, has a larger demand on the bleed air system, which makes it a little bit harder for the aircraft to stay pressurized. So you have to be careful, make sure you're aware of what you're doing to ensure that the aircraft is pressurized at all times. Right, so the TMS is set for takeoff. Neat trick as well, it has all these bug speeds. They're automatically updated based off your gross weight. I think it rounds it up. Watch the airspeed indicator. When I click this, there you go, it'll update all your speeds for you. Your target speed for departure, so I want to bug V2 plus 10, so that's the only thing I want to change. So V2 is 137, I want to fly V2 plus 10 initially, so I'm just going to bug 147. Again, there's no auto throttle, but this is similar to what you find on some of the classic Boeings. You have a fast slow indicator, and that's just simply based off this bug, so it's quite nice to set that, and you can see what's happening to your speed when you set your attitude to maintain. In this case, V2 plus 10, which is what we're doing after departure. Right, all we've got left to do, guys, is set the nav aids. Now, this routing will be using conventional navigation except for the star, so I will load up, have a pre-saved flight plan in the FMS, and once we get into the onto the arrival into London City, I'll be using RNAV navigation. The reason is there's no conventional arrivals into London City, they're all RNAV based, but I will be managing the descent manually, so we'll work out the descent restrictions, when to calculate descent to meet them, etc. stuff like that. But first I want to get the nav aids set up, so we'll be flying today the Liffey 2 Echo, so I want to have Collinstown active for now, so we'll put that to frequency 11.2, make that active. There we are. Initial course is 098, which I preset. You can see it's all waving around there. And then I'll want to have Dublin on standby. Actually, this is an RNAV SID, but you could sort of fly it conventionally or brief it shortly as well. So that's set. Nav aids courses, and on Jim's side, I want the first en route nav aid, which is, I think, Wallasey, the Wallasey VOR. So I kind of hand-stitched the routing on SimBrief based on existing airways routing between VORs. So we'd a bit of realism there. So there's Honolly, first VOR is 11365, so we'll make that active on Jim's side. There we go, so the nav aids are all set for departure. We're not using the ADF, we will be into London City, and all I need to do before we start the engines is load up the FMS. All I'm doing is lateral routing, guys, so it's just a stock one. Company routes, there's the pre-saved flight plan from SimBrief. I'm going to go to departures. We're taking off from 10 right, Liffey 2 Echo, execute, departure arrivals. It's going to be ILS 27 via a Jacko 1 hotel. So Jacko 1 hotel, ILS 27, it's a Lavno 1 Juliet transition, execute. On the legs page, I'm just going to take a massive chunk of this arrival off. I'll show it to you later. We're going to go from Babcook to Ravsa, execute, and that's it. I'm not going to be touching this for the rest of the sector. It's just simply once we can no longer fly conventionally, I'll flick this switch here to HSI and RNAV, and then I'll engage LNAV, so the lateral routing on the arrival can be followed based off what's programmed in the FMS. Right, so all we need to do is get the APU start. No, the APU's already running. Is get better pushback connected, pre-plan pushback, brief the taxi and SID, and we're out of here. What do you think of the 146 so far? Well, you've got to see me fly it first, but...
Ground to Cockpit, plan acknowledged, call me through the menu when you are ready.
Thank you, sir. Start pushback.
Ground to Cockpit, tow is driving up.
Overall, very impressed with it so far. It looks very nice. CH Sober, I think the FMS is stock, but they'll be updating it later. That is correct. Just Lighten, I think it's Tranda Design have said that it's coming. Anyway, there she is. Oh, there's a good job I jumped outside because I did my usual thing of not forgetting the door. Where is the tug? Ah, yes, through the building. What is that? I didn't get that on the test sector. I did on one of them and not the other. Anyway, Alpaca Airways handling in Dublin. Very good. Let's get the doors closed. Not this one. So, no, it's not under that one. I keep forgetting.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
No. So close the cargo, close the passage door. There we are, clunking away. Not on the test sector, bingo. Many miles one as well, brilliant. Excellent. Right, let's brief the departure here. Whilst we get
waiting stop and adapter in position. Release the parking brake when you're ready to start pushback.
Will do. Okay at the moment, thanks. So here's the airport chart. We're on stand 202. We're going to push back here to face west onto Romeo. No, hold on. Where are we? We're on stand 202. We're here. We're going to push back to face kind of southwest onto the Charlie line, and then we're just going to taxi straight out. Hotel, cross 1634. Join Sierra, and then we're going to taxi all the way to Sierra runway 10. It was only a week ago we were here for Cross the Pond, but nothing's changed with regards to that. The departure then, unfortunately, like with every other airport that is being the case around the world, it's RNAV based. So the great thing is though, this SID, although it's RNAV based, you need to be RNAV compliant. We can sort of follow it conventionally. So we're going to route firstly to Delta Whiskey 551, which is based off the Collinstown VOR. DME is 7. So I forgot to turn DME on down here. So you can see, look, Collinstown's tuned 1112, DME's reading 2 because we're on the airport here. Once that reads 7, we're going to make a left turn. As it's RNAV based, there's no information regarding a heading. So what I'm going to do is just make a left turn. I might cut the corner here to get established on the 094 radial from Dublin to Liffey. We'll know we're at Liffey because once we're on the 094 radial at 28.9 miles away, we're overhead Liffey. And then once we're there, we'll tune up Wallasey. Just to show you kind of where we're going geographically. be there at Liffey. We're going to fly inbound 094 to Wallasey. Once we're at Wallasey, we'll make a right turn. I think that's Honolly, and then Honolly to this waypoint. And once we get here, we're already on the arrival into London City, which takes us all the way out here to the east. And then I'll be switching to RNAV. And using LNAV navigation there. It's the only way I can kind of get in. So that's it. Flight time around 1 hour, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Is there no FMS on this aircraft? There is V1 rotate, just a stock one. Just using it for the lateral routing today. Very basic, but it's good though. To be fair, if you want to take this aircraft online and fly into some airports, which only has RNAV availability, like London City, it can accommodate that. Hamza, what does DME stand for? Distance Measuring Equipment. Right, so we just need to get engine started. So what we're going to do here is put the anti-collision light on. So we're ready for pushback, which is all the way up here, I think. Beacon on. Transponder, we'll imagine we've got our score called Score 2000 today. We'll put that to out off. And we're all ready to go. We'll release parking brake. I think we're going to get lifted up now by the little... Oh no, he's tying my nose wheel. There he is, look. Up we go. Perfect, so starting engines.
Pushback, and you may start engines.
4 engines to start up here. So first we need to switch on the beacon light, set the APU air switch to off. Packs off. There we are. So you'd think that it's no longer getting APU air, but the aircraft gets it somehow, even with that switch off there. Turn on all fuel pumps, which we've done. Move the engine start selector on the overhead panel to the engine you want to start first. So we're going to start engine number 4 first. And then we need to put the start power switch to normal and starter master on. And then we just simply select which engine we want to start first. So we're rolling, pushing back. Let's start now engine number 4. No, I know I've forgotten to do something. There we are. That one. Not that one, that's engine NTIs. Right, we're starting. So we'll do the first engine start here. 15% N2, which doesn't take long. There it is. We'll put the fuel in. Oops. There we are. Chunk. There we are. Look at that. Very quick. She's increasing. N1. N2 stabilises very, very quickly there. Starting APU number 2 out of 5, said Domino Messina. Yes. So TGT's decreasing, N1 stabilised, and looking good. Starting engine number 3. So N2 15%. It is the Whisper Jet. Gets a bit louder.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Well, this is always fun. So you've got 2 ways of setting the parking brake using whichever hydraulic system you want, green or emergency yellow. And we want yellow, and it's like pull to park on yellow.
Disconnecting tow.
There you
Stand
go.
by.
No, not emergency. There we are. So we've got yellow, green, and emergency yellow. That's set. Let's start engine number 2. That's a master caution there. Starting hairdryer number 3, brilliant. 15%. Love the clunked. I was thinking earlier, this is the first time we've flown a 4-engine jet. It's not Concorde, of course, had 4 engines. But this is the second time we've flown an aircraft which only has 4 engines.
Tow is disconnected and bypassing has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
Thank you. Right, starting engine number 1. What's going on with my sounds there? I think it's because of the view of where I have it. Probably about there. Reset my engine view. Right, better get the fuel in. Clunk. John Pavel, can we listen to the engines outside? Oh look, someone flying past, are you joking? Thank you very much, Tommy S, who's just joined as a member. Glad you enjoyed the content. You get invited to our members only Discord. You're using the custom modes in chat. Thank you very much. There we are. Got the sounds turned a little bit low. There we are. That's a bit better. It gets much louder. There are 4 engines running. This burns around the same amount of fuel as a 737NG. It's very close, the fuel burn here. Right, so that's everything done. 4 good engine starts and all stable here. So once all fuel starts are completed, we'll move the rotate engine start selector to off and starter master switch off. Engines in continuous. On the electrical panel, set the generator 1 and 4 online, so we now have AC power from generator 1, 4. There's none on engine 2 and 3. It says put the APU air on. Now I'm not going to do this. The reason is the tutorial talks about using the APU air for taking off and then put the engine air on, but I'm actually going to leave that off. And I'm going to use engine air for departure. I think we've got more than sufficient performance. So I'm going to leave that switch off, and then I'm going to turn the APU generator. Well, I think it's like an Airbus in this case. You leave that on and just turn the APU off. So we'll move that to stop, and it looks like we haven't lost AC power. Everything's looking good here. He says, no stop. Why has it done that? Let me just check to make sure. There we are, now it's shutting down. Just want to make sure we definitely get electrical power. We are. Yes, so we're now on the generator, APU shutting down. So that's looking good. Engine 2 and 3 hydraulics on. So on, we have both hydraulic pressure now for yellow and green. Seems to run at a lower PSI than the 737, around 2,500 PSI as opposed to 3,000. But no master cautions there, all looking good. Brake fans to auto, apparently, which they're already in. Ice protection systems on. And that is it, I think. Taxi next, flaps to 18. They're being extended. Anti-skid. That's something I've got to turn it on. No, anti-skid's on now. So flaps will take to 18. There you go, there's the flaps extended. There we are. Flaps 18 for departure. Confirm the stab trim is... There's no unit setting, it says. I don't know if they actually calculated that. In the tutorial it says make sure it's in the rear of the green band, which it is. There's no further information about how to further tune it, because there's no way of displaying the CG of the aircraft and any of the displays there. But there's a very simple table in the manual showing, basically, if you know what your CG is, this is the stab trim you need to set for departure. So flaps we've done, on the overhead panel, check continuous ignition, press the config check. So you know how in the 737 we advance the thrust levers fully to check the takeoff config warning. No need to do that in this aircraft, you simply push that. You see, we've got a warning sound. I think that's because the parking brake's set, so let me just release the parking brake. You see how it's not sounding now? That's good, so it's not going to start moving. No, that's good. So config check's done. Switch on the AC pump to supplement hydraulic power in the event of an engine failure. So AC pump on. And it also says... Does it speak about the PTU? No, it doesn't here. Switch on AC pump to supplement hydraulic power in the event of a failure. And that is all done, I think. Right. I think we're ready to taxi. Now I've got a big shiny red master caution light, but looking on there, there's nothing red, nothing green. Air selector on ground, brakes on, engine condition on. There's no white lights. It's all looking okay to taxi, I hope. I'm sure someone will shout in chat if I've forgotten something important. Right, let's commence taxi. So parking brakes released, and as I said, we're going to taxi straight ahead here. Onto, where was it on stand 202? Well, we're straight ahead onto hotel, and then all the way to Sierra 7. So, clear left, clear right, slowly advance the thrust levers. There, our hair dryer's on, we're on our way. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. Incredible amount of people coming in this Friday evening, over 680 of you. If you enjoy watching the BAE 146 being flown by a 737 skipper to London City, favourite, smash the thumbs up button. Very excited to fly this approach again. We'll be using the speed brake on approach, getting it in here. So far so good. I don't think I've forgotten anything at all. I'm going to talk about the takeoff profile as well. We'll be exploring the autopilot. It has a really cool autopilot which has this sync feature. Basically you can control your vertical speed using the control column, holding down this button here. So you see there's a sync button. I've assigned that to a button on my joystick. So you'll see if I hold this button down, look here on the display indicator. Look, if I hold sync, you see how it says pitch and roll. I probably should have done it so early, but you basically hold that, set your pitch attitude or your roll rate, and then let go of the button, then the autopilot will follow it. It's sort of like control wheel steering in a way, which is pretty neat. Now, how do I actually turn off pitch and roll? Do I turn the flight directors off? Oh no, I actually forgot to turn them on. There we are. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that early because I now have pitch and roll indicators, but it's very important that before you engage the autopilot, you sync first. Otherwise the aircraft will go all over the place there. Cool. Now she's louder. So imagine being cleared to cross 1634. Such a stubby aircraft. Sounds are really good. So one of the things I've noticed with this aircraft, I was actually talking to one of the devs in the community post about this. If you go idle, it seems to lack inertia. It seems to slow down really quickly. So I don't know if they need to adjust that here.
10.
Oh, Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II is here. Thank you very much, Lizzie, for the £5.
Earlier one made reference to the wing dihedral. If yours truly learnt anything from her days as a lower altitude Colombian flower distributor in the 1980s, it is the 146 wing.
Oh,
Is
did I
anhedral.
say dihedral?
Apropos of nothing, it also lands on dirt roads quite well.
Oh, thank you very much, Lizzie Windsor, for correcting me there. Of course, Her Majesty, I think you own a couple of these jets, so you definitely know the direction the wing it's facing there. So thank you very much for your correction there. Of course, dihedral is on my 737. Very, very funny. Thanks, thank you very much, Your Majesty. And yes, maybe you'll be impressed with my flying, and you'll employ me to fly the one for the Royal Air Force, going all over the place. Thank you very much, Your Majesty. My goodness me. Yes, anhedral. My apologies there. Brilliant. So yeah, as I was saying, if you go idle, remember this is DME based ground speed as well, so it's only accurate if you're flying away here, but it seems to lack inertia. It's sort of slowing down really quickly. I'm not touching the brakes here. 10, 9, it feels like I'm lightly stepping on the brakes, so I don't know if that's needs adjusting. I feel that the inertia needs slightly tweaking on the add-on here, so you have to keep a lot of thrust on. Otherwise, you know, it's a 40-ton jet. It's not. I don't think it's meant to stop that quickly. I mean, an empty 737 weighs about the same as what we weigh now, and taxiing one of those around, yeah, it doesn't stop as quickly like that unless you're going up quite a steep hill. Anyway, hopefully they'll fix it. Andy, did you switch the packs back on? Yes. Funny enough, I was actually looking. The reason I forgot that, here's my excuse. The tutorial has you. Has it have you put the packs on? It has you do a packs off takeoff and then put the engine bleed on. But I was just testing it there. There we go. There you go. And it's so easy to forget. And it's annoying actually. There's no warning that they're off. Yeah, that's easy to get you. Very well spotted. Yes, the tutorial has you take off with the APU on. Yeah, brilliant. Well done, John. Well done, many miles. Thanks, Andy. The tutorial has you take off with the APU bleed on with the APU air on, and then after takeoff, it has you put the packs on, I think, with engine air. It doesn't really go into much detail as to why you're doing it. And I was like, doing the tutorial, and I was like, really, you take off with the AP one? So that's my excuse. I'm following the tutorial, and I bet it probably does say put the packs on, and I missed it. I'm not sure. Thanks, guys. Oliver, they only use pack number 4. Well, there you go, Oliver. I was half right and completely forgetting all of them. I left pack 4 off on purpose. Thank you. The autopilot master is the same. It does not give you a warning. Okay. But yes, you can see I'm having to keep adding thrust here to make sure I don't stop. Right, should do a little before takeoff checklist, which should have hopefully have caught that error anyway. So config we checked, flaps we have 18, stab trim is in a little green unit here, so takeoff briefing, the packs are on, the bleed is on, which is the engine air, our V-speeds are set for departure. We doesn't actually reference V1, but Jim will say it. V2, VR is 132 and V2 is 137. Initial climb out's going to be 147 knots. We're going to climb straight ahead until we get to 1,000 feet at V2 plus 10. I'm then going to set climb thrust, which is around, looking at the tables in the manual, around 90% is the standard climb thrust setting. And then we'll accelerate to around 250 knots. We'll bug up. We're going to climb up to flight level 90 on this SID, climb it straight ahead to 7 miles off Collinstown, so we're going to wait for 7 miles here, then we're going to make a left turn to intercept the 095 radial, which I'll put up Jim's side, inbound to Liffey. So that's it, everything here is complete. So what I'm going to do now is talk you through the takeoff profile, based on, again, a little bit of research and observing some real BAE 146 footage. We're going to set initially the initial target N1 of approximately 92.9%. Once we've done that, the TMS system will do the rest to ensure that 92.9% is indicated on the N1 gauges. 80 knots, 100 knots we'll make our check and have light forward pressure in the control column. We'll rotate at VR, initially rotate to 15 degrees to pitch for V2 plus 10 knots, which will be 147 knots today. 1,000 feet, so we'll adjust the pitch to accelerate, so I'll probably lower the nose to make it around 500 feet per minute. Set climb for us, around 90% N1, and then we'll continue hand flying till around 2,000-3,000 feet, and I'll then engage the autopilot. Now to engage the autopilot, I'm going to use the sync feature first, get the autopilot in, and then probably vertical speed, and then I'll use sync to set my target vertical speed, probably just to keep it low to maintain 250 knots, and then we'll complete the after takeoff checklist there. Cool, so I think I've covered everything. I don't need to set the parking brakes, it will just stop on its own. There seems to be a lot of stopping force in the background. We'll put the weather radar on, tilt to +5, sensible range will be something like 50. Let's get the landing lights on now. Try to anyway. The strobe lights are up here, I think. Our strobe lights are on. Don't weather radar. What else got? So MCP set transponder is TARA. Strobe lights are on, landing lights are on. I think we've got everything. Check's complete there. So let's line up here. Runway 10. Imagine we've got our takeoff clearance. Let's have a look here at the latest weather in Dublin. Nav lights are on. Yes, Andy, you did the nav lights right at the start. Surface wind here in Dublin is, just updating here, 040 at 6 knots. Just make sure the nav lights are definitely on. No, they're not. They're off. I thought I put them in high intensity right at the start. Oh dear, my bad, my bad. No, I know what I did, Andy. Genuine excuse here. I started on the stand with engines running accidentally, and I did configure it with high and stuff. I was like, oh no, I won't use the menu to use shut down the aircraft, and I used a little lightning bolt on there. So that's my excuse anyway. Yeah, you can know what to do in chat. Thanks, Andy. Right, what have I forgotten in importance there? PAX lights. Not too much, not too much, but you can do a PAX off takeoff in the tutorial, so that's my excuse. Not bad for the second time flying this jet. Anyway, let's get the show on the road. Oh god, I have to use my rudder pedals to taxi, guys. Hold on. Oh, just have to stop there. Sorry, my rudder pedals got stuck on my printer. Oh dear, there we go. I couldn't get any rudder in. Let's try that again. Don't worry, Dublin Tower, I haven't just stopped facing the wrong way. Oh, something's jamming my rudder pedals. Oh my god, it's my slippers. My slippers got stuck into my rudder pedal. That's something I don't have a problem with at work. If I'm not wearing my slippers. Sorry, guys. Right, let's try again. That's better. Perfect. And because I'm not in a 737, I've overshot the centre line slightly, but we'll fix that here. Awesome, so yeah, flight time around 1 hour. Let's make sure we are facing the right direction. Someone said slippers. Oh dear. Right. Turn that on briefly. No disturbance during the takeoff here. Right, should we do it, guys? I'll try and talk you through what I'm doing during the takeoff to the best of my knowledge. I'm going to turn this down as well because it is an awesome sounding aircraft, albeit very loud. Shall we do it? Let's set around 50% N1. Engines all look stabilised. Timer as well. So that goes to the go position, and we'll set takeoff thrust. There we are. So takeoff thrust set indications normal. I'll try and show you, but can you see the TMS moving the thrust levers? See how they're moving? Look all independently.
Speed alive, both sides.
Just to make sure we're maintaining that thrust setting. So that's the TMS system.
Cross-checked.
So checked. I should have had light forward pressure. No, we'll let go now. Just using up a lot of runway.
V1. Rotate.
Up we go. Thanks, Jim.
V2.
And we're airborne. And there's V2 plus 10, so we're going to pitch up to maintain that speed.
Positive rate of climb. Gear up.
Gears going up. And trim. Great. Perfect. So just watch my speed there. I was too busy doing external view. Right, so we're going to accelerate now. So we'll bug up. We're going to set about 90% for the climb thrust. And we're just going to maintain about 500 feet per minute. And we're going to maintain heading until we're 7 miles here. And I'm going to use the sync feature. So you'll see the flight director's update now. So we're going to press sync. There we are. We'll select flaps up shortly. Jim will tell you when to do it.
The FTO, safe height speed, select flaps up.
Thanks, PM. He's decided to raise his voice today, old Jim. So we're just accelerating, and bug around 250 knots now. Oops, don't descend. Whoopsie daisy. So we're still hand flying at the moment, just going to bug 250. That's it, so keep it around 500 feet per minute. Here comes 250 knots. There's a little orange ball. As soon as that's in the middle, we'll start pitching up to maintain 250. There we go. Sync again. Alright, I'm now resynced, so that means all I need to do is engage the autopilot, which is down here. Engage autopilot. I'm going to go heading select initially, just to maintain heading. And IS hold, which is this button here, and it's just dropped off a little bit to 240 knots, so we'll maintain 240 knots. Set standard as we're climbing to a flight level. I'm so busy, look, I've just missed that turn point, so I'm just going to make that left turn to intercept the 094 radial from Dublin. Set standard 1013. 1013. 1013, and now let's do the after takeoff checklist before I forget. Don't forget to arm the altitude, otherwise the aircraft will not level off and go straight through it. Right, so after takeoff checklist. So, climb, we've done that. Just want to make sure I do everything correctly here. So, confirm gears up, set all 4 engine air switches to on, so it would have done a bleeds off takeoff in the tutorial, but you turn all those bleeds on, then turn off APU air and verify packs are on. Switch off the AC pump and the PTU. I've got the PTU on as well, so that goes off. Verify the PTU is off as well. So that's done. Shut down the APU, which we didn't do in this check in this flight, and that's it. Check's complete. And we're going to climb straight up to flight level 90. So we need to get everything set up for the Dublin radial now. So 14.9. The radial we need to intercept is 094 and alarm 4 lock. So approaching 90, we'll level off at the SID stop level. I'll show you where we are. So we're kind of flying along here. Can't really do that accurately because I don't have RNAV on at the moment. We're intercepting the 094 radial. So what I'm going to show you is this neat little vertical speed CWS feature. So let's do that as well. So you see I have 1 to go here. Now if I select vertical speed and I want to change my vertical speed, again I'm holding down the sync button on the control column, but I'll hold down the button on my joystick. I just gently lower the nose until I'm doing the vertical speed I want to do. So let's set 1,000 feet per minute. Then let go of the sync button, and then the vertical speed will lock on and maintain 1,000 feet per minute. So there you go. Taking a bit of thrust off, just to make sure we don't exceed 250 knots, because there's no auto throttle, remember. I still have to manage that manually.
50, 40,
go from there.
30.
Thank you very much. I thought I turned it off. I hadn't. I only put the muted on thing there. I'm so sorry to whoever that was. Give me 2 seconds. Professional streamer here. I need to fix that. Oh dear, I forgot to actually turn the alerts off. Just the sign. Let me play that again. Thank you very much, David.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
There we are. That's 250 knots, intercepting the 094.
This is the worst aircraft ever constructed, but fun to see it flying.
Oh, David, I don't think so. I mean, it's a lovely aircraft. It's a bit archaic and different to what we're used to in modern jets, but I see how it works. It's a fun aircraft to fly. I've enjoyed the past 24 hours reading about it. It's been great fun there. Right, so there we are, out hold at flight level 90. Just again taking the thrust off there because, like with the 737 to 727, you need to keep an eye on it. Look, I just got a little bit above 250 knots, so let's get back to 250, and then we'll climb to our cruise level here. Just want to again demonstrate how it works, because I'm sure many of you are potentially interested in investing in this excellent product. Right, there's flight level 90, adding thrust now to maintain 250 knots. No auto throttle, but you see here if you set your target speed, it'll change your fast and slow bug, which is really neat. Same as on the classic Boeing jets. Right, so 250 knots. We want to go up to flight level 250 for our cruise. So I'll bug 250, and again I'll use indicated airspeed. That'll be the easiest way of managing this. So as soon as we're at 250, which is pretty much now, I'll engage indicated airspeed, and just like level change, I'll now set climb thrust 90% N1, and the aircraft's going to pitch up to maintain 250 knots. So just fine-tuning that for us. There we are, up we go, and that's it. After takeoff checklist complete. So there we are, approaching Liffey now. I want to tune up our next nav aid, which is our en route nav aid Wallasey, as we're flying pretty much directly towards Liverpool. So let's bring up the chart for that. Here's the flight plan. So Liffey direct to Honolulu, so we're going via all these waypoints to get there. But sorry, Wallasey, 14.1's the frequency. So 14.1. Just going to revert to heading select quickly so the aircraft doesn't start turning, and then we'll accelerate. I know I've just passed 10,000 feet, guys. So where's the heading bug? It's this one here. So briefly over to heading. Tune up the Wallasey VR, which we should be established already on the radial, on the 271, I think it was 272, so we are. So back to Vorlock, which is here. There we are, and we can now accelerate to a more sensible speed. So we'll climb at around 280 knots. So again, I'm going to bug that speed. Remember, the indicated airspeed hold doesn't follow this. This is just a reference bug. It just simply follows the speed at which you engaged it. So again, I'm now going to revert to vertical speed. Select vertical speed. Hold down the sync button. There we are, sync. Just lower that nose to around 500 feet per minute. Probably a little bit aggressive there. You'll feel a bit sick. Therefore, we'll let the aircraft accelerate to a better climb speed around 280 knots. So as soon as the orange ball is right in the middle there, we'll re-engage indicated airspeed hold. And that's it. Inbound to Wallasey, we've got about 80 miles to run. Jack Williams flying over your house. Very nice. DB Vetter, this is a detailed aircraft. Just downloaded the manual from the website. Yes, the manual is completely available, even if you don't own the aircraft. 250 pages of detailed information. Right, we're on our target speed. Let's go to IS hold, and we're going up to 250. And that's our final cruise level. There we are. It's easy as that. Easy as that. There we go. Let's do a little exterior view as we go up to 25. Over the Irish Sea, looking good. Elliot, you have the prepared version. Love this plane, an icon of London City. There was no other sector we were going to do. Mentioned it last stream in the mod that we'd jump over to London City as soon as this was released, which I knew was upcoming. So that's pretty cool. Russell, evening skipper, good to see you enjoying your type conversion. Very busy with proper flying, yeah, very, very busy. And you guys have been on the ball, spotting a few little things I forgot. But yeah, not bad for 24 hours of having the aircraft in my virtual hangar. Beautiful. Hamza, have you ever flown an Embraer, Captain? I haven't, only in the simulator here. HD Aviation Film said you should fly a 337 Super Skymaster. I think I know what that is. Some old Boeing beast, isn't it? Pre-war, perhaps. Greg, did you remember to set the timer? I did. Did I just see an aircraft carrier? Actually, this is the perfect aircraft to land on an aircraft carrier. No is the answer to your questions in chat. But if one aircraft could do it, it's definitely this one. Yes, the timer is running. You can see here is the elapsed timer. So once they're airborne now for just over 10 minutes. There you go. It's only a tiny little clock there. Looking good. Are your strobe lights on, Simly Bob? Best check that. I'm pretty sure. Yes, strobes are on. Probably can't see it very clearly. Yes, there you go. They are flashing away. Got a couple of cabin views as well. Look at all you lot wanting me to land on the carrier. Unbelievable. You know you want to. I know, James. A big part of me is very tempted to fly into there. James, I believe this is the first jet my uncle flew after passing his flight training. He now flies the 380, so something just a little bit bigger. Yes, very much so. That's wicked. There's Wales and Anglesey off to the view here. That's Orbex True F coming into view. Nicholas, I've heard climb thrust 88% initially, and every 5,000 feet you add 1%. Now the manual mentions 88%, and then it says a gross weight above 40 tons, or the figure was in pounds, use 90% N1. That was in the included manual for the climb thrust setting, but I can remember it referencing something about every few thousand feet increase in thrust. But no, it's climbing quite nicely. Well, I say nicely, look, high 90% N1 climb thrust, 17,000 feet at 280 knots, but only managing 1,000 feet per minute. I've flown, when I was an FO, I've flown with captains that flew this aircraft. They loved it, but they said it was extremely underpowered above kind of 15,000 feet. No performance whatsoever.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Thank you very much, David Leonard. Very kind of you. Thank you.
I asked 2 days ago about the landing on LPMA Funchal. Watched the video yesterday, but did you do the visual IRL?
No.
Because I'm looking for an FI to have my rating on LPMA for my PPL.
Very cool, David. Well, best of luck with your rating into the airport for your PPL there. I've only flown to Funchal in the simulator. I haven't flown there in real life, but love the opportunity to do, but a challenging approach there. Right, thank you very much. So yes, I can see what's happened. I've been waiting for this to happen because I have no answer to this predicament. I've spent hours and hours and hours of trying to find the answer here. You'll see I now have a master caution for fuel. I have sufficient fuel, 4 tons in either side, and what the BAE 146 has 3 full fuel tanks and 4 feed tanks. So basically the fuel goes into a feed tank, the feed tank fuels the engine. I'm getting these indications on every test sector I've done. I've looked online, I've looked on PPRune, the pilots networks, I've looked on the instructions. I cannot find any guidance on this. I don't know if it's a bug or something I've misconfigured here. But it says here, left feed low level and right feed low level. I'm looking at the indicators here and it's showing sufficient fuel in the feed tank. So I don't know if anyone else has this aircraft. Could tell me if they've had the same issue or it's a bug here. Here, maybe someone can help me. Sergey, enable the center tank transfer to open. I will do that. but I don't have any fuel in the centre tank. It's completely empty. And again, that's another thing I wasn't so sure about. In the 737, you always fill up the wing tanks first to full before you put fuel in the centre tank. The tutorial seemed to mix the fuel quite a bit. It had some fuel in the wing tank, some in the centre, so
30,
I don't think that rule applies.
20,
It'd be interesting to
10.
have a bit of information about it there. Thank you very much, Abby. Oh, very generous, man.
It took
Jesus.
me 24 hours to learn this aircraft. It took me a year to learn a Zippo.
Oh, Abby. Oh, my goodness me. When I say I've learnt the aircraft, Abby, I can get it from A to B without making myself look like too much of a fool. Only a little bit of a fool. No, my background experience helps a lot. That's very generous, Abby. Thank you so much for £50. Incredible generosity there. Yeah, I'm sure a year to learn the Zebo. Well, I've been flying the 737 for 10 years, still flying the Zebo. I'm still learning stuff every day, so you never stop learning. Thank you very much, Abby. Very kind of you. Yeah, so Jose Manuel, underpowered, although having 4 engines, too much drag. Possibly. Having said that, here's a really fun thing I learned about the BAE 146. I say it's underpowered, I think that's more applying at the higher cruise levels, but you can actually take off in this aircraft. It is approved in the MEL, without passengers though, to take off with 3 engines. I can't believe it myself, but it can be done, and it is approved. You can take off with 1 engine failed, and 3 engine takeoff. Unbelievable. It has to be an empty aircraft though. And I couldn't believe it when I was told that. I thought he was pulling my leg. He said, no, absolutely. And there's also a video on YouTube of a guy who flew the 146 on one of those cockpit camera videos who said he's done it too. So there you go. Um, 0321, you had the same issue flying from Norwich to Amsterdam. Very keen if anyone has a solution for the fuel warning. Yeah, I don't know if it's a bug or something I don't know about this aircraft, but I've got the transfer switch, center transfer switch in. Oh, hold on. Did you say open earlier? Or auto? Whoever that was, Sergey. Ah, sorry, Sergey, I misread that. Enable the center tank transfer to open. Okay, transfer to left tank. Well, let's keep an eye on it then. I'm tempted just to leave it because, oh look, we are actually transferring fuel. Okay, where's that transferring that fuel? To the centre tank. Where's that transferring fuel from though? Not sure. Anyway, we're approaching waypoint Wallasey. That's at 25 miles. We're not going to spend that long at 250, guys. We're only going to be here about 15 minutes. Well, no, I don't think it's even that, 10 minutes. It's quite a long arrival today. We'll tune up the next VOR as well after Wallasey, which is Honolly. 1365. We'll get that on standby. All the fuel pumps on. Yes. Cam's pilot. Now, am I right in thinking you are a dev on this aircraft? And was that you I was speaking to on YouTube and Facebook earlier? If that's the case, we'll investigate the fuel warnings. That fills me with confidence in the fact it isn't something I've forgotten. Well, in that case, I'll put that in auto. I'll leave it. But yeah, I mean, if you look, I could be completely wrong here. I don't know, but it says feed low level. I would suggest that one of these would be indicating a lower level there. Each indicated 250 kilos. So I'm not sure. I don't know if everyone has suffered the same bug or if it's just me. Or look, I say bug. It might be that the aircraft behaves like this. I really don't know. Todd, could you take off one engine on the 737?
50,
Absolutely
40,
not.
30,
Not what I like to try.
20, 10.
You'd be way below something called VMCG to maintain control. Thanks, David, again.
We need a trigger for failures for channel points like on Twitch. $2 for hydraulics. Failure.
Oh, thanks a lot, David. What, so the idea is if you donate, it triggers a failure. I don't like the sound of that. Now, I have got random failures off, and I have done recently, but I will turn it back on. And of course, I've never done a failure stream before, although I have had once an old stream which is long gone where the engine did fail, but I went rather potty-mouthed. completely forgot what I was doing, and I managed to get the aircraft down on one engine, which is pretty fun. But yeah, could be cool. Could be cool. Thank you. Alex, is there LNAV or VNAV on this aircraft? Yes. There is the default FMS with the custom one coming in time, but I will be using LNAV shortly once we get onto the arrival into City. Oh, I think I forgot to do something here with the TMA. Oh my goodness me, yeah, I forgot to do that and check the pressurisation. So thrust management system. Returning briefly to TMS when using higher thrust settings inclined, you can engage max continuous thrust. This mode allows you to set maximum continuous thrust by advancing the thrust levers, and the TMS will actuate each thrust lever to maintain max continuous thrust. Now, I think I should be on... Is it sync? Yeah, and then N1, and that just, I think, look at you see how it's changing all the engines now to have the same thrust setting? And you can see, look, they all have little splits here. It's really nice, really nice. Now it's setting, look, the N1, pretty much the same everywhere. Not very quick, this one. Beluga has the same MMO pretty much. MMO is decimal 7.2, I think, so we'll be cruising at decimal 6.5 here, which is slightly above that there, so I will bug that. And remember, no auto throttle. We'll maintain this climb speed though until we get to 250. Yes, have we all passed out, said David. Yeah, best just check the pressurisation, which is here by the FO's knee. So cabin altitude seems pretty steady, but you can see here, look, yes, we have a diff pressure of 5.7 and a cabin altitude of 6,000 feet. It's scheduled to be 6,000 feet, so looking good there. Thank you very much, Jonathan, for the £5.
I hear you can get tray tables from Airbus Breakers Yards on eBay. It's all fit the 146th, right?
Possibly, John.
50,
maybe
40,
I could just get some gaffer
30,
tape to bolt into
20,
this, and then I can
10.
slant the meal slightly across there. I'll stuff it up with magazines. Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks, Boz.
Have you been watching the golf today? Mindy Lee has had a mare.
Boz. Boz, Mariana put you up to this. Oh, no.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Boz, you idiot. Fabio, thank you.
I love this plane. So peculiar. Fun to learn.
Oh dear, thank you very much, Fabio. Absolutely, thanks for bringing me back into reality there. Fabio, yes, great fun, and I've really enjoyed learning the quirks of it over the past 24 hours or so, and a lot of people had mixed reviews, and myself included. Oh look, you guys have distracted me. I've flown over the VOR here. Yeah, it's had mixed reviews, but I disagree. I think it's brilliant. I think it's really nice. Looking forward to streaming it for much more there. My goodness there. So yeah, I was concentrating so much on what Boz said. Basically, if there's a funny video going around on WhatsApp, and my friend sent it to me. It's not appropriate for this channel, unfortunately. I've just been reminded about it here. Brilliant. Thank you very much to all of you there for your generosity. Right, Honolulu next. Honolulu. Radial we want is 107. So let's tune up 107 for the course, and the frequency is 1365. 1365. We need to fly right because I did fly past it. That'll be ATC calling you. What is going on? There you go. List them in. I have no idea what they're talking about. I wouldn't worry about it. So, navigation-wise, once we get to Honolulu, that's it. We're already on the arrival into London City, so we're going to be in Honolulu in less than 10 minutes, and we'll only just be about reaching flight level 250. So once we get to 25,000 feet, we'll start getting everything set up for the approach into City. Alan Ben, what's the difference between EGT and TGT? That is an excellent question. We reference EGT in the 737. I got a funny feeling it's to do with where the temperature's measured, but I might be wrong on that one. We don't use TGT for the NG. Right, let's put Vorlock on. So once we've actually intercepted that correct radial, the 107 inbound to Honolulu, we can then start talking about planning our arrival into City here. I'll need a little bit more of an intercept heading here as well. In fact, what is that radial? It's initial magnetic track. my days, no, I'm all over here. 140. There we go. Radio's just coming in now. Turbine guess temperature? Probably, Jacob. I really don't know. But I think the temperature's measured in a slightly different place. There we are, there's 250 anyway. We're level here, so we'll start reducing thrust, going a little bit fast here, just to maintain our target Mach number of decimal. Now, actually, what was the flight plan saying? Decimal 69. Okay, well, that's around what we're doing. It's just below. Let's maintain about that speed. Cool. Right, another top tip as well. If you do get yourself the BAE 146, be careful with the sim brief profiles, because there is a BAE 146 sim brief profile. I generated a flight plan yesterday, and I was like, that's strange. I had a look at the average fuel flow in the BAE 146 profile, and it said it was around 4.5 tons an hour, and I thought, no, the BAE 146 doesn't burn more fuel than, say, a 727 or a Tupolev. That wasn't right. So I had a look at all the sim brief profiles, and I noticed they had the RJ equivalents there. So we're in the 146-300. So I selected the what is the equivalent? I can't remember. RJ 100. Much better. The average fuel flow seems to be matching now. On the test sectors I did what we expected. So don't select the BAE 146 sim brief profile until it's been updated. Select the RJ equivalent. So they have a 75, which is the 100, I think, or the 300 is the 100. I don't know. Yeah, Avro RJ 100 is for the 146-300. Make sure you select that profile. Always worthwhile checking the those little things before. You don't want to be like, oh no, I've realised before it's too late. But it was on the conservative side, at least. Excellent. Whisperjet. Russell, TGT is measured at the last turbine stage, EGT is measured at the exhaust outlet. There you go. So just watching that speed. Remember, there's no auto throttle. You just have to fine tune everything to make sure you stay at your target speed there. Same as the 727 and 737-200 by FlyJSim. No auto throttle fitted there. And the CRJ. Lee, I think I prefer you flying actual liveries. Oh, Lee, don't say that to the rest of us. I absolutely not. We want Alpaca Airways livery. It does look cool flying the Aer Lingus one. It'd have been funny saying Shamrock on that sim. Mariana. By the way, Flight Deck to Sim Gaming is Mariana, my partner, who obviously put Boz up to her saying what he did. Unbelievable. Mara and I are having a right little tickle about that video that seems to be doing the rounds. Joe, behave yourself. Hamza, hi Captain, are you going to play City Skylines on Flight Deck to Sim Gaming? Did you enjoy that last time on the Cross the Pond? I still have that city stored, we could start a new one. I did start playing a little bit on Tuesday, but I got to the point where the traffic was just too busy and doing strange things, so I stopped. But I will be going live on the Flight Deck to Sim Gaming channel tomorrow, possibly, because some of the guys are racing in a setting course, and I'm definitely joining them. Whether I stream it or not, I haven't yet decided. Cool. Right, anyway, we're only 38 miles from Honolly here, so we'd best get the charts up to City. We're just south of Stoke-on-Trent. Let's bring up Linden City, Echo Golf, Lima Charlie. So the arrival we're flying today is the Lavno 1 Juliet. No, that's the transition. The star we're flying is a Jacko 1 Hotel, then the Lavno 1 Juliet. So let's select Jacko 1 Hotel first. And Lavno 1 Juliet. And then it'll be ILS 27. Select an airport chart as well. Oops, to keep an eye on my speed. Yeah, it takes a while just to get that thrust fine-tuned to make sure you're maintaining your target speed, so I'm just adding thrust there. chart. Let's go for this one. There we go. So look, we're already inbound to Honolly, direct. Once we get to Honolly, we're going to go straight outbound to Rugby, and we need to descend to flight level 200. So we'll go outbound on the 106 radial, but as soon as we're 12 miles, we'll need to switch over to RNAV and the FMS. So you'll see the FMS should be sequencing to the waypoints correctly. Look, Wallasey, Honolly, then Rugby, so we have that all set up correctly. And we'll manage the descent profile ourselves. We need to do some distance, speed, time calculations to work out when to initiate our descent. Now this, remember, we've got a huge speed break here, so actually to get down quickly is not an issue in this aircraft. You just simply open up this speed break. I'll do it quickly here, look, boof, and it drops like a brick house. It drops like a brick so fast. Oh yes, be careful then. So yeah, on the top here, remember that the system is as the crow flies, so obviously if you look up here on the ETA in 20 minutes, that's not correct. That's as if we go like this, like all the way into city. We're going to be going all the way around here. So probably another 30 minutes flight time here. That's the arrival into city, because there's so much traffic around here in normal times around Heathrow. It's super busy. Right, let's just reduce that thrust. Cool. Oh yeah, if you want a Birmingham external flyover, Jonathan Wiltshire, yeah, we're about to go straight over Birmingham. Yeah, right between Wallasey and Honolly. Yeah, let's have a look here. I don't think you'll see much today though. Must be close to Birmingham. Yeah, there's Honolly, so we're pretty much overhead Birmingham. Let's have a look. Yeah, look at that. Not bad. Don't need any flight data sim Atlas emojis, but I've been flying around this airspace for a very long time. There's Wolverhampton, Birmingham's next. Cool. Right, 15 miles to run to Honolly, so we actually need to get ready to descend to flight level 200 to be level at Rugby, nice and early, and we'll be staying at flight level 200 for a short while. We could do a little bit of maths here, so there's my calculator for my speed, distance, time calculations. Make it a lot easier if I can find it. Well, my whiz wheel, that's what I need. Can't find my calculator. So Rugby, we've got 12 miles plus DME of 13, so let's call it 10. So we've got 22 miles to Rugby. Our speed, ground speed is around 400 knots. So 22, divide that by 400. Times that by 60, so we've got about 3 minutes until we get there. So let's imagine if we descend at 3 minutes until we get there, we need to lose 5,000 feet. So we need to descend at 1,600 feet per minute if we leave now. So if we start descending to flight level 200 at 2,000 feet per minute, we'll be level by Rugby. So we'll set 200. Top of descent in chat, although an early one, but it is with the arrival here. Select 200, arm, vertical speeds. And then I'm going to hold down the sync button, sync on my joystick there, which is here on the control column, and just gently pitch down until we're doing around 2,000 feet per minute. Oh, that's aggressive. There we go. And let go of the sync button, and it'll lock in vertical speed, and then I'm reducing thrust now to maintain our speed. There we go. And remember, because we're above 20,000 feet, we need to limit our N2 to no less than 65%, but that's not going to be an issue. Right, so I'm going to be very boring now, guys, because we're approaching Honolly, and it's going to be conventional navigation from now on. So all I need to do is flick this switch up. It switches to LNAV, and there we go. It's now routing on the lateral navigation based off the flight management computer. But after Rugby, I have no choice, but we are outbound on the 106 radial. Now look at the ground speed. Notice how it's decreasing to 0. That's because it's DME distance. It's a slant range, so as we go over the cone of confusion right overhead the VOR, it doesn't actually know how to count the ground speed. So the ground speed information you need to be careful with. We directly overhead that VOR now as well. But you'll see as we fly overhead the VOR now outbound, that number's going to start increasing. Now here's a question for any BAE 146 experts, especially if the dev's here. Is there a way to link the miles, or perhaps even the ground speed, to the FMS? Because even though I switched over to RNAV, the distance and speed is still based off the VOR. It would be quite nice if the distance in miles here agreed with what the flight management computer was saying. So you can see it's 8 miles to Rugby. It would be quite good if it said 8 miles there. Instead, it's still looking at the VOR. Why have we... Oh yeah, flip. I thought it was flight level 220. No, it's 200. That's looking good. Yeah, it'd be great to be able to get the miles here based off the FMS of the RNAV data, because it's quite hard to work out. Well, I mean, well, it isn't that hard. I can use the flight management computer in the distance here, but it'd be really nice if it matched up with that. James Monks, I would like to know that too. There you go. Cams Pilot, we'll get that added. Thank you, Cams Pilot. Brilliant. It's amazing that we've got the devs here. But can I please send a message to your team, Cams Pilot? Well done to all of you, and Trounder Design. It's superb. I don't even know the amount of work that needs to be put into an aircraft like this just from giving feedback to Zebo over the past 2.5, 3 years, and what you guys are able to reproduce in desktop simulators these days is incredible. Right, just about level. That calculation I worked out was okay. 200 by Rugby. We're pretty much directly overhead there. It's all mental maths to know your distance, speed, time calculations, but it does work. 200. Boof. And now we need to add thrust to maintain our target speed of decimal 6.5. Lazy Pilot, are you using XP Realistic 2, sir? Nope, I try and run as a vanilla setup as possible, Lazy Pilot. I have a few plugins. If you want to see what plugins I have, I don't know if Nightbot's currently activated with that command. Let me just double check. I just have what's required to make a sort of a most realistic experience for you guys. I don't have any shaders, I don't have any unnecessary textures or plugins, just to bring some stability to the simulator. Is the plugins command enabled? Oops, just watching my speed there, not concentrating. Yes, so if you put the command plugins in, it should show you what I have. Thanks, guys. So let's get back up to decimal 6.5. Oops, a little bit high on the thrust there. Ugh, don't want to over... I'm on one of the test sectors here. I put too much thrust on and I overrun... I exceeded an engine limitation. It came up there and I was like, oops. But we'll maintain decimal 6.5 here at flight level 200. We'll go nice and fast. And we're inbound to TixX. So next restriction we need to think about will be under 250 and then inlim flight level 120. Jamlin just made it. Where are we at? So we've just passed overhead Birmingham. We're currently inbound to a waypoint here, which is TixX. So there's Cranfield. I can sort of cheat on this map here. So Cranfield, Bedford will be around there as well. We're then going towards Odvod, Cape will be south of Cambridge. Look, nice routing. And live weather at the moment, obviously not live time. We're 12 hours behind live time at the moment. There we are, getting up to a faster speed here. Let's check the fuel burn as well. Directly over TixX, so I took no additional fuel today. Just took standard flight plan fuel. There's TixX, so 33 minutes. Let's check the elapsed timer. That's around a little bit later, 37, but I think that's because I've been going slower than what it says here. Yes, 6.9, I've been doing 6.5, so that does make sense. We should have 3 tons of fuel on board. I've got, look at that, 1,500 kilos aside, 3 tons, and we should have burnt 2.1 tons fuel used. You can see them all here. Let's just times 560 times 4. It's going to be close enough. 240, we should have burnt 2.1, so we burnt an extra 100 kilos of fuel, which, yeah, pretty close. It's probably down to my inefficient flying, which is why I've burnt extra fuel. But, yeah, I'm sure that sim brief profile will become more accurate over time. There we are, back to our target speed, so I can use the speed reference bug to keep this nice and centered. Looking good. Jamlin, so you didn't choose the scenic over the Shard approach. No, we'll be doing the 27 because that's the preferred runway, I've been led to believe, and also the wind there is favouring runway 27, current surface wind in city. So right now in London City, surface wind is 260 at 4 knots, so yes, straight down the runway, 4 or 5 knots for 27. Don't want to be landing on a tailwind here. Jason, can you execute a hold? I think the default FMS gives you that option. Oh look, I didn't turn the radios on. Yeah, I have no experience with the default X-Plane 11 FMS. Minimal use, if I'm honest, in this aircraft. In fact, I'll be flying this in future streams like I would be flying the 727 Classic or the 737-200 or the 727. Sorry, more fun. But the great thing is, you can fly it like that, but you can utilise the FMS, at least get your lateral routing in, so you can navigate to those airports, and then you can just manage the vertical profile yourself. So I quite like the fact they have stuck the default one in there. Of course, the custom one would be nice, but I'd rather have a default one than none at all. That way you can actually still use it online on VATSIM, because the fact of the matter is, I mean, even the length of time I've been flying commercially in the last 10 years, I started flying in 2010, 2011. There were plenty of conventional approach aids left now, but in Europe there aren't that many. They're all RNAV based SIDS or stars. Still plenty of ILSs, but there's more and more RNAV approaches now, because there's not aircraft flying around like this now. We all have dual FMCs with IRS, incredibly accurate navigation systems which can navigate so precisely. It's just the way aviation is now. Listen, it's so cool that so many planes are still coming to X-Plane, and one can fly almost everything by now. Yeah, X-Plane 11 wasn't best catered for, I think, a few years ago now, but a lot of devs have seen the quality of this simulator. And I have no affiliation with Laminar Research or anything like this, or Microsoft, or anyone here, but this is still, for me, you know, why do I not stream? I hate. There's no literal favourite one for me. I like both sims. I see the value of both sims. I'm sure Microsoft Flight Simulator in a few years' time is going to be wicked. But flying aircraft like this, this blade element theory. So we talk about it all the time. It's so cool. It just handles so nicely. So yeah, I'm so happy devs are still creating great products for this great simulator. So many aircraft to choose from now. Beluga. When you say that out again. Right, cool, so we can maintain, there's no speed restriction here at the moment. The next one is under 250 knots. So yeah, it's quite hard to get your DME distance here. But what I'm going to do is start setting up for the approach here into city. So I'll hand over control to Jimothy. And here is the ILS chart. So we're getting the ILS frequency tuned up now. So we're not actually using anything else at the moment. So 11115. I should be over to DME. We'll make that active. There we are, we're going to get... oh, we actually are picking... Yeah, we probably would be picking up the DME, probably from London, because we're not actually that far away from it. Over in distance there. Fair enough. Jim, you can have the ILS frequency as well. 11115. Course is a 272. .272. 2,000 feet is the platform altitude. This will be the second or third time we've been into city. First time we took the Airbus. Oh yeah, then the 737 for a laugh from Mariana. And yeah, look at this, 3,000 feet and glide slope capture at 5 miles. It's just crazy. It's twice as high as it should be. So platform's actually 2,000, intercepting the glide slope at 3.4, but I'm going to go to 3,000 intercept from here at 5 miles. We'll be fully configured gear down flaps with the speed brake out as well as we start descending, just to keep our speed under control and to make sure we have a bit of thrust in the event of a go around. Minimums then. What category aircraft would this be? B or C? Probably B. Not much in it. I'll go C, just because that's what I set. I think we'll be okay with 30 feet. I actually don't know what category this is. So it's based off a radio altimeter, so we actually want to set the radio altimeter high above the ground, so 611. And you get a nice little minimums call from a lady voice. Let's round that up to 620. There we go. So minimums are set. RVR required 2,400 metres. It was a lovely day, or lovely evening in city, I should say. So we'll be fine. The RVR, so a little bit of thrust there.
50. 40,
so we're coming in.
30,
Via the INAV waypoints shortly. Just need to start slowing down to Nunda. Thank you very much, Scott Irvine, for the £5.
My monthly donation.
Scott,
I'll become a member soon, I'm sure.
I'm sure
In
you will.
normal times, how many times do you stream?
Thank you very much, Scott Irvine, for the £5. That's very kind. Now, channel's over 4 years old, and when I started streaming, which was about just under 3 years ago now, I was able to squeeze in one a week. I was commuting at the time though, and sometimes it was twice a month. There was no more that I could do that. But now I'm based at home. The plan is when things do return to normal and I'm back flying, is to stream at least once a week. That's probably what it will return to when we have a little bit of normality in our lives. But I will forever, if you are interested in becoming a member, be active on Discord as I am daily, answering any questions you have. For example, I did the first streamed the first test sector this morning for the guys to come and watch. Very approachable, great bunch of guys. I've got a lot of people helping me run the channel, both members and friends. So yeah, if you're interested, be sure to join. Thank you for your consideration. Thanks for the donation. Hamza, should pilots landing in city pay for congestion charge? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you very much, Noah B, for your $3. I just saw that. I'll wait for it to pop up, and then we'll start talking about this approach. In fact, look, we're approaching Nunda, and you see here, you've got the FMS and the legs page to help you here.
40,
but it'd be great to
30,
have the miles information
20,
converted
10.
from the FMC onto here. And the ground speed, again, is based off DME from City at the moment. Thanks, Noah.
Love your streams as always, please keep it up.
Thank you very much, Noah. Very kind. Thanks for $3. I intend to keep this up, especially whilst I'm not flying at the moment, for as long as possible. So thank you very much for your donation. Thanks for popping in there. Cheers, buddy. Right, anyway, let's have a look at this arrival. So I'm just starting to slow down to 250 knots to be at that speed by Nunda. Oh my goodness me, I haven't even started my descent planning. So we're at 20,000 feet. We've got to lose 8,000 feet, guys. We've got... I'm sort of cheating here because I've got the map open, but we'll work backwards from Nunda.
50, 40,
It says 12.
30,
That's not right. So 12
20,
plus 20 is 32.
10.
Her Majesty's just commented again. I'll read that shortly, Lizzie Windsor. Let me just get this in here because we need to start descending. Speed distance time. So let's call that 20. Let's call that 25 miles. Speed is around 360 knots. Not using this, remember, 121. I need to work here. Divide that by that, times that by
50,
60.
40,
Oh my goodness, guys.
30,
Thank you very much for all
20,
of you. I'll read that shortly. So
10.
4 minutes time will be there. 4 minutes, we need to lose 8,000 feet. That's 2,000 feet per minute. So we'll set a little bit higher just to make sure we make that restriction. So 120. And we're doing 250. So I'm going to do indicated airspeed, hold, arm, and close the thrust to wide. Oh no, I'm going to use vertical speed. Hold on. Actually, let's just go indicated airspeed and just see if that will maintain 2,000 feet per minute. Probably will do more than that. I'll just use out a bit of thrust here to maintain that. So firstly there, who do I start off with there? Lizzie Windsor, thanks for £2. Lizzie said, one finds London City so much more convenient for Buckhouse, although the golf match going on in rows 10 to 15 is letting one's side down. Perhaps one should let Harry back from exile and see if you can bring Air Force One with him for comfort. Yes, 747 Lizzie. Thank you again for your very generous donation. Very kind. Ikri, thanks again for the £2 and for your continued support. Rooting for Mariana to come tickling you whilst on the threshold. By the way, why didn't you get in your jowl livery? Take care, always scattered. Thank you very much, Ikri below 2. Now, talked about this. Thank you very much. Awesome. So, now inbound, this is confusing. It is inland, yeah, the active waypoint's here. We need to be level at 12,000 feet and we're doing 250 knots at around 2,000 feet per minute. So we should be fine for that restriction there. So we'll cycle the seatbelt, sipping on for the entire sector, which is down here. Let's try to find some. There we go. So the cabin crew have around 15 to 20 minutes to land, even though we're having a bit of a going the long way around on this approach today. Have having a little look here on the descent checks. So we're doing everything here as well. Oh, I know what I forgot to do on the TMS system. So if I engage descent, it'll set now, or it'll ensure that it won't set lower than 60% N2 to ensure that you have sufficient bleed pressure. So you'll see if I reduce the thrust to idle, see how the N2 stops at 60? It doesn't actually matter because we're below 20,000 feet now, but at higher altitudes, idle thrust, you don't want to make sure it goes less than 60% N2, but the TMS will make sure it won't exceed any set limitation. Yeah, it'd be great to get this working with the FMS. Looking good though, to make the inland restriction, and then we'll be going down to what 9 is 0 for
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Generation blowout. Thank you so much for the $10, buddy. I'll be doing well stateside.
Been a while since I caught one of your streams. Glad I could today. Hope all is well.
Generation blowout. Thank you so much. All very well here in the Flying Data Sim household. It's a lovely evening here. 13 minutes past 10. Streaming a little bit later because I try not to conflict with V1 or 320, the other kind of popular YouTube pilot streamers. So sometimes they conflict and I just go, well, I'm going to stream at the same time because that's the best time for my viewers. But he was doing a stream at 5. But yeah, this time's actually quite good for my US guys watching. So thanks for popping in, and it gives an opportunity for some people to watch it live that probably couldn't. Awesome. Right, flight level 120 coming up. Altitude arm is there. Not bad. A little bit early. Perhaps I could have left it a bit later, but it's always best to make that restriction. And we'll start bringing that speed back to 210 knots. And all these speeds are very early into city because of the congested airspace. Ollie T, do you like this aircraft? I love it. Really, really like it. Awesome that they've updated the 146 now, so you can turn the reflections off on the windscreen and instruments. So much clearer now. So much clearer. Right, here comes 210 knots. That's just to preempt the restriction at Jacko. Just bring it back nice and early. So we'll start adding thrust now.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Everyone's going in here. There's Rafi G. Thanks, the tenor.
Slightly smiling face. Cheers. Safe travels.
Thanks, Rafi, for your slightly smiling face. Thank you very much. Almost safely arrived into London City here. We should be touching down. You'll actually probably notice here the time and ETA is going all a bit berserk because we're heading away from City. But there you go. You can see we're now inbound to Jacko. Next restriction is 90 at 210 knots. So I'm going to bug 90 now. There we go, indicated airspeed hold, and we're going to carry on descending. Now you can hear the trim constantly moving, and it's sort of like making a clicking
50,
sound.
40,
I think it's meant to be
30,
moving
20,
all the way like that.
10.
Thanks, Barry.
Great flight, Captain.
Thank you.
Good luck. We are all relying on you back here. Haha.
Thanks, Barry. That's for the £5. Very generous of you. I hope you're doing very well, man. Thanks for your generosity show. Perfect. Now, test sector, 2 flown, and 1 butter. We have witnesses here. We're probably watching on Discord. The butter was a minus 35. One of the best I've ever done. Complete fluke. And it was in the touchdown zone. I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I did it. No promises today. Actually, that restriction 120 and 90 at Jacko is pretty tough, so I'm going to just open that speed brake out. Look how effective this is, by the way. I'm in indicated airspeed hold. Look at the rate of descent increase with this out here. I've got a funny feeling it's not meant to be that impressive. It could be, though. It could be, but look at that. Oh, 6,000 feet per minute almost. Right, out arm, please level off at 90. I might have to just take over here. Where's sync? Right, sync. Just pitching up slowly here. There we are. No problem. Very, very effective, as it probably is in real life. Right, sync again. Let's keep descending to make that restriction. No problems here. 90 at Jacko, not a problem. And then once we get here to Jacko, we're going to be on this RNAV arrival. Don't worry, I'm not flying the full approach, which takes you to the south and then to the north. We're going to go from Babku direct to Rapsa. So that's how we're flying it. And and we're ignoring the 100 restriction because we've got to be level at 90 at Jacko. There we are, levelling off and adding thrust here. Oops, just be careful, don't want to get too low on speeds. 210 knots. Space shuttle mode, I know. Stucker, cue the Stucker siren. You can see how it has no problems getting into city. His speed runs away on that 5.5 degree RLS. Just crank that bad boy. No problem. Luke, you're waiting for the classic, but it worked in the test sector. Absolutely. But I have witnesses as well. So yeah, you can see without that DME distance, it's a bit hard to see what your distance is to the waypoint, but you do have it here at least. Anyway, approaching Jacko. Now we're a right turn inbound to Babku. It's 210 knots as per the arrival. Now inbound to Babku. Next restriction is going to be 6,000 feet at Ravsa. So we need to lose just 3,000 feet. Actually, we're at 90 here. We best do the post-cruise checks, hadn't we? So TMS is set to descent. Post-cruise checks. So let's have a look here. Fuel. We've discussed the issue here. So you can see, look, oh, it has actually dropped off the feed tanks there. I don't think they're meant to be that low. Let's hope they don't go to zero. But we have sufficient for this sector. That's around 2,600 here. Alternates Luton. We need 2 tons to get there. Let's turn the lights on. AP's off, pressurisation, the final sector. Diff pressure's around 1 psi now, and cabin altitude's 6,000 feet. And set. And there's no warnings except the fuel one we know about. Oh, look at that! I know what I forgot to do for the flap. Start switches are continuous the whole sector. There you go. Checks complete. So nicely holding 210 knots. And now the ETA is going to be a little bit more accurate. Touching down, I'd say 10 minutes from now. We pretty much fly up the Thames estuary. Beautiful. Excellent. Strange. I hope I've not broken the altimeter. Yeah, I think it's just ticked over, look. Instead of showing 8,900, it shows 8,000. It's a bit worried there. So here comes Babku. And it looks like we've picked up... oh no, see the... Yeah, so this is the distance. We've actually got the DME distance here for 27. And the ground speed now as we turn towards the station is going to start increasing. But not accurate unless you're directly flying to or from the VOR or the source of the distance. There we are, inbound now to Ravsa. We can send to 6,000 feet. So how long we got here? 15 miles, we only need to send 3,000 feet, speeds around 230 knots. So distance 15 miles, 230 knots, times my distance. It's going to take about 4 minutes to get there. 4 minutes to lose 3,000 feet, so just under 1,000 feet per minute. So we'll start doing that now. So we go 6,000 feet, and select vertical speed, sync. Just going to set 1,000 feet per minute. There we are. Let go of the sync button and it'll lock in that vertical speed. I think that's how it works. I think that's how it works. There we are. And we need to set the QNH. Let's turn the music off now as well, as we're getting into the busy parts of the approach here. We only have 40 miles to run. QNH then into London City is 1015. So let's set the QNH now. Oops, speed's running away there. Let's go reduce the thrust there. So 1015. Big request from the devs in Just Flight, because I know some of you are watching here. Sync feature for the altimeters. Sync feature. Have it as an option where we can have you set standard in one of them, it sets it on all of the altimeters, including the standard one. Yes, not realistic, but a darn sight easier when you're single pilot in a multi-crew aircraft. Right, speed slowly coming under control. Oh, London Controller is here. Hello. Jamie, who's very well known on Twitch. Can I say... I'm only going to repeat what I said on Twitter, but amazing ATC there. It was a unique experience, actually, because it gave opportunity for people to watch, you know, me fly a jet in here, and how it was being coordinated by a very competent VATSIM controller. I looked at that stream. I can't imagine how you guys do it. When I was an instructor, I mean, I had to just vector around the students in the level D sim and just say, right, turn right, heading this, cleared approach. I didn't have to worry about anyone else. It was very easy. So I have a lot of respect for that. You've popped in at a very interesting time. Anyway, we're going to make the 6,000 feet restriction at Ravsar just to play it safe. I'll just increase that rate of descent slightly. Speed's okay, so sync. Let's go to around 1,500 feet per minute. Did I arm it? Ooh, it's going to catch me out one day. I'm going to stream this aircraft. I'm going to forget to arm that altitude. Looking good. Right, I think I've done everything. V-speeds for approach. I'm going to use full flaps. Set that, which updates it all. So VREF's 119. I'm going to fly 124 knots. Okay, so let's make a note of that. 119 and fly 124 knots. There's 6,000 feet. And what I'm going to do here is keep an eye on this, because Jim has conventional navigation all set up here. So when the DME and localizer comes alive, we'll see it on Jim's side, so I can switch over. Still inbound to Ravsar at the moment. We've met the 6,000 feet restriction. Just need to add thrust again to make sure I'm maintaining 210 knots. Ah, look, it was updating our final approach speed has changed my target speed as well. So I want 210. It's going to make it easier to leave that there so I can see what my speed's doing. So 6,000, level at Ravsar. We need to maintain this altitude until after gapping. We're going to go down to 4,000 and then 3,000 at Lavmo. We have 33 miles to run. We're touching down in around 6-7 minutes, I'd say. Still not picked up the localizer yet. Or the glide slope. Very late in the sim, but we're now pretty much flying on the extended centre line all the way into city. You can actually, I think that is the airport there in the distance. Awesome, awesome evening for it as well. Look at this. Well, I say evening, it's morning in the sim, but live weather at least, is it? Beautiful. What an add-on. So much I need to learn about this aircraft too. So much more. I like it. I love the classic jets. Honestly, I'd far rather fly this on a stream than an A350, but that will come to as well, no doubt. Oh, keep my speed under control, 210 knots. Do miss auto throttle, that's for sure. Right, I don't think I've forgotten anything major. I think we're okay. There's 210 knots coming back up. There we go. And let's add that thrust. Looking useful. Thank you Thank you very much, London Controller, who's just now joined as a member. So impressed with my work, I see. Thank you very much. You get invited to our members only Discord. Thank you so much. We'll meet you there, and I'm sure everyone there will be very excited to say hello. Enjoy using your custom emojis in chat as well. That's very kind, London Controller. Thank you very much. Right, so excited by that. I've missed my target speed. I'm up and down, 210 knots here, and I'm going to mute the alerts here just for the approach, because I don't want you not doing anything funny during the flare. Right, anyway, there we are, back to 210 knots. Keep an eye on what's going on here. Oh yes, 4,000 feet, best start descending. And let's go IS hold. Arm. Still waiting for the localizer and glide slope information. 20 miles to run. There is that 4,000 feet restriction at Lima International, Lima Charlie Echo 07. I've warned Mariana already. She's not going to do anything today. There's the 4,000 feet restriction to make at Lima Charlie. Why don't I keep saying Llama instead of Lima today? Unbelievable. Level of 4,000 at Lima Charlie Echo 07. We're making that restriction very low, very early into city. Looks like we have a localizer and glide slope. So what I'm going to do is revert to conventional navigation, and looks like localizers captured. Lock green, very good. And we just now need to descend to 3,000 feet after we've made the 4,000 feet restriction, and then we'll arm glide slope. We're going to maintain 210 knots until around 15 miles, which isn't that long to go. We're 20 miles to run. Need to get nice and slow, nice and early into city. There's 4,000 feet. Next restriction will be the 3,000.
Localizer captured.
Thank you, Jim.
Speed checked below 205. Select flaps 18.
Okay, we can start slowing down. Let's go to 180. A little bit early. There we go. Just maintain that speed. Looking good at 4,000 feet. 3,000 feet's the next restriction, which we're going to start to send you imminently. See, I can't even use the restrictions for DME waypoints because they're all RNAV points, so I can't actually work out backwards how many miles away from one beacon. But we'll set 3,000. And we're going to select vertical speed again and sync. Set around 1,500 feet per minute. Switch my speed. There we go. Going to arm glide slope as well. It's nice and low, nice and early. Just don't want to miss that. Ian, the sounds sound like you're actually fine on a 146. It's been last time I went on one of these was as a kid, so I can't remember. But I've been told the sounds are all authentic. Sounds awesome. Nice howling sound here. There we are, 14 miles to run, so I'll bring the speed back to around 160 knots when we level off with another notch of flops. So 165. Actually, let's stay at 180. Just for a short while. There's 3,000 feet levelling off, and we'll intercept the glide slope from here, and it's at 5 miles now. 5 miles. So just adding that thrust, looking good. This is gonna be interesting. Trim does sound like crickets. It does a bit, doesn't it? Alright, now I've just got to keep that speed under control. So when we get to 10 miles, I'm going to start configuring to land because I only have 5 miles to go, and we'll get our target speed bumped to our final approach speed, which was 124 knots. Remember, there's no auto throttle managing speed for me today. Approaching 10 miles. Sort of a landing checklist. What do I need to do here? So I know you have to turn the TMS off. Last time I did that, I accidentally engaged Toga, so I'm going to leave it in. Bit of a spoil sport. But I need the start switches continuous. Nothing to recall. Everything's checked. The only one who has the fuel. We have just over 2.5 tons, I think, or around 2.5 tons on board. In case we go around, that's fine. So that's all checked. Switch on the AC pump to auto and the PTU. So auto PTU. No, not the PTU. I think it's just this to auto. There we are. There we are. Check's complete. There's 9 miles. So I'm going to start configuring to land now.
Speed checked below 180. Select flaps 24.
So gear down, flaps
Speed
24.
checked below 170. Select flaps 30.
You're the boss, Jim. Flaps 30. We're going to go back all the way to our final approach speed now. 124 knots. I'll select landing flap as well. 124 knots is coming up. And we'll be using that speed brake on the descent just to control the speed, make sure we have a little bit of the thrust up as well, just in case we go around. Looking good. And I will be hovering this because I do get a few sync rate warnings. Uh-oh. hope that's not serious. Hydraulics. Air low pressure green. Oh, it's gone off. No idea what that was. Just be careful there. It's adding a little bit too much thrust to control the speed. Right, so landing checklist, we have gear down, full landing flaps, indicated 33 degrees, clear to land, lights are all on, checks complete. Oh, look at the speed, come on. So 6 miles, we still don't have glide slip alive. God, I love City. God, I love City. Approach is armed, glide slope's armed. So just add that thrust. It's just a little bit of an oscillation here. It should be rock solid at 3,000. Probably not helping that I'm adding and changing thrust a lot though. Right, glide slope's alive. Into a go around, be climbing straight ahead to 2,000 feet.
Glide slope captured.
Check, so I'm going to go to idle thrust here.
Damaged on the ILS.
Thanks, Jim. Very, very good, Jim. Right, so there's idle thrust. We don't even need speed brake up. Oh, yeah, there's the speed running at beginning to climb. So I'm going to get that speed brake out now and just use the thrust to maintain 124 knots. Speed brake's so effective there. Right, radio altimeters come alive. Have a quick external look so you can see what's going on outside. There are speed brakes out, gears out, full flaps. Looking good. A little bit fast on the speeds. And look at this. It's around 1,000 to 1,500 feet per minute required to maintain this. So I am probably going to get a sync rate warning, maybe a pull-up warning as well, but I don't know if there's a way of inhibiting that. Probably required when flying into City. But looking good. Speed's okay. Tad fast. Going to get ready to disconnect everything. Turn the flight directors off as well. Alright, pretty happy with how it's all flying and handling. 2 reds, 2 whites. What an aircraft. What an add-on this is, guys. It's got us here safely from A to B in absolute style. Right, looking good. So approaching 1,000 feet above aerodrome level. Going to disconnect the autopilot now.
Autopilot
So
disconnected.
it's my aircraft. I'm hand flying. A little bit. Looks like I'm a little bit right to centre line. So just really small changes. Keep that rate of descent going. Keeping the PAPIs pretty much at the same point in the window, the aiming point there. Speed's bang on what I want it to be. A little bit fast. Just taking a little bit of the thrust off. So very small inputs. Weather's on my side today. Keeping it descending. 2 reds, 2 whites. Keep this around here in case I have to shut up the sync rates and the pull-ups. Looking good.
Sync rate.
So
Sync
yeah,
rate.
I knew that was coming. 3 reds, not ideal. There we are, back onto 2 reds, 2 whites. Now keep it descending. Don't shy away from this descent. It's very steep.
Sync rate. Sync rate.
Yes. 3 reds again, not ideal. So just pitch up slightly, get those puppies back to where we want it. 3 reds. There we are, 2 reds, 2 whites. Keep it descending now. Keep it descending.
Sync rate.
Yes,
Sync rate.
yes. Ooh, 4 reds, a little bit too much there. Right, but keep it descending now. Right, big check, close, hold the attitude.
Ground on.
Oh, not bad, nearly a butter. 127, great landing. Right, speed brakes up.
Yellow,
And
green
we're going to raise the spoilers on the top. There's no reversers on this aircraft. I'll take that, guys, for City. Look at that, 5-second float.
80 knots.
Very happy with that. Not a minus 25, but
60 knots.
we'll take it. Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to London City. Right, flaps coming up. Stow the speed brake. And the spoilers. Beautiful. Loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Right, take the next left. A fire truck's already on standby. Who called ahead? Maybe it's because it's our first ever flight here. No Aer Lingus have been here before. Amazing. Right, we'll turn... Actually, I don't know what engines you turn off. I'm going to taxi to stand 1 here as well. Wicked. Do a little bit of a clean-up flow. I've already selected the flaps up and the speed brakes. Oh, it's such a shame I didn't get a butter though. It would have been cool. I got a butter in the Airbus, minus 90 I think it was. We flew to City last. Very, very cool. Right, landing lights coming off. Which we'll do up here. Trying to find everything here. Onto taxi. There we go. Get that APU started. Now that we don't need to wait too long for because it's so quick. Turn those off. APU 2. Oh no, that's the engine starter switch. There we are. Start. That's already spooling up. Stand number 2. Next ride is going to be stand number 1. Awesome. Amazing. 1,000 people watched the landing. Super cool. Amazing. So much. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in to watch the stream. If you enjoyed the landing into City in the 146, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. Awesome. And we're going to be doing some more sectors in this bad boy, definitely, in the next week or so. Definitely sooner rather than later before I forget everything, that's for sure. Right, there's stand number 1. And find a nice little two-sector day to take this on. Great that Just Flight are updating it. There's been 2 updates since it's been released. We're on version 1.02, 1.03. I spoke to one of the guys earlier. He said he's going to come out in the next few days, possibly this weekend. Right, sorry, not much done there on the cleanup flow. I'm not sure what I've forgotten. Probably strobes as well. Right, let's have fun trying to set this archaic parking brake. So to pull it, yellow. There we go. Yellow and set. Check the pressure here. Look, yeah, we've got parking brake set. Yellow pressure's at 3,000 psi. Cool. So AP power's available. AP generator's on. So I think I could just get away with shutting the engines off. Strobes I just want to turn off as well. There we go. And I think to shut them off I need to do... Oh, this is going to be fun. I forgot to turn this off as well. How do I shut them off? Can someone remind me? Can't remember. I don't think I got this far before. There we go. Clunk, clunk, clunk. 4 of them. Excellent. We'll turn the volumes up as well. What an aircraft. That was awesome. Really enjoyed that. That's why you can't hear anything. Hear them spooling down just about. Jim did a great job today, didn't he? Loads of information from him. That's really cool. They tell you when to extend the flaps based off of the speeds. What a beast. Amazing. What else we've got to do? Lights going off. Oh my days. Yeah, engine low oil pressure, that's associated. And let's turn those lights off as well. I don't think I've forgotten anything major. Awesome. Oh yeah, anti-coal light. You guys hate it when I leave the beacon light on. There you go. Perfect. Well, successful stream. What an inaugural stream this has been for the VA146 here at Flight Deck to Sim. Wicked. Let's have a look at some of the comments now on the approach. It got super busy there, so I did turn everything off. Gabster said safely from A to B, don't speak too soon. I was thankfully lucky here. Decent, wow. Yeah, what's with all the no butter emojis, guys? Come on. I've been working hard here. Love it, love it. Oh, it'd be great if I got a butter though. Would have been great. Try again one day. Petrich, that felt super fast because the runway is so small. Yes, and also, I think the runway width is less than 45. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Let's have a look here. It is... No, Jet chart's not my favourite here. Yeah, look, it's only 30 metres wide, so a narrow runway also gives the impression that you're travelling faster, and also
40,
it makes you look even higher
30,
than you are compared
20,
to a 45 metre wide, even more so because it's twice as steep as well. Thanks a lot, Michael Cowder, for the $8.
Hey mate, love your work.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for what you do and for Mariana's patience.
Absolutely.
He would love some more Australia streams though.
Oh, Michael Carter, thank you very much for the $8. You're quite right. I think we've only done one stream in Australia, one of the members group flights, and I haven't done many since, so I'll definitely think about that, Michael. Maybe this aircraft. Qantas Link, who has, but no, you'll next see this aircraft in the Alpaca Airways livery for sure. We've already ordered 200 for our fleet. But thank you very much, Michael. Very, very kind. So yes, Petrich, yeah, the 30 metre wide runway also adds to the fact it looks like we're coming in much faster there. No, there is a button above the TMS to disable the sync rate warning. Thank you so much, Noah. See, you're learning something new here. There's a button above the TMS to disable sync rate. Ah, steep approach. I saw someone chat say steep approach. Look at that. Is there anything these devs have not forgotten? Well, there you go. I should have had that on there. I had no idea that was there at all. No idea. Awesome. Thank you so much for pointing that out. I'll do that for next time now. Luke said Pog. Lewis said very nice, Captain. Thank you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, landing was good. Landing was good. Stephen said, just when I thought this week couldn't get any better, my fly dicks and burgers arrived. Wicked, thank you. Andy said, 2 blues, 1 red. Very good. Listerman, 10 out of 10. Get my hair dried by these 4 fans again. Brilliant. Superb. Right, we're going to call that a day, just the 1 sector. But no, I hope you enjoyed seeing the 146 and this sort of introductory stream. Whenever I sort of fly an aircraft for the first time, I like to follow the included tutorial with checklist or guidance. You know, I hope I showcased it in a nice way. I know sometimes some people go, oh, look at me going around it and it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. Well, on this aircraft I genuinely don't, but I do make the effort to at least look up the manuals and read up a bit about the systems and stuff. But I hope you learned something new and perhaps consider investing in this aircraft. I think it's £55. I think it's a very fair price for the aircraft. You're getting a lot of aircraft for the money. It's great to see that they made such a quality product, and I'm sure they'll be keeping it updated for everyone moving forward with everyone there. Thanks to the controller. Thanks for joining us, remember. We'll catch up very soon. Feel free to drop me a DM in Discord whenever you so wish. Listerman is saying bye to Lauren, I think. Lauren says, how many A321 XLRs are on order for Alpaca? We have 1 as a test aircraft only. We give it to the new pilots. Brilliant. Listerman says, still get PTSD from that MOGF and didn't even fly. Yeah, hopefully we'll be back there again.
40,
better. That
30,
particular flight. Steve,
20,
thank you very much
10.
for the £5. Clement, yes, there will be a landing replay shortly. I'll just say goodbye to everyone.
Excellent flight, boss. Think this one is going in the hangar.
Absolutely, Steve. Thank you very much for your £5 donation. Yeah, this every time a great aircraft comes out by a developer, another one brings another one out again soon. But it's a really nice aircraft. So awesome to have bought it. And there's a few of the guys say in Discord, I'll put that straight in my basket. Absolutely brilliant there. Awesome. So we'll turn off the background music here and get everything set up here for the replay. And cue the funky replay music. There's my pro streamer overlay music. There we are. Oh yes, excellent. Right, let's have a look at that landing then. Let's give ourselves a little bit of an analytical review. So yeah, it was a nice approach. I went a bit low at the ends though. So we're kind of at 3 reds at this stage. So you can hear the flight deck initially. Shut that up. So that was looking nice, 2 reds, 2 whites, and then here look a little bit too high, 3 reds, 4 reds. So it just went, oops, a little bit of an overcorrection on that profile. Check then, I didn't really describe what I did here, so I planned this. Just turn this music down here, guys.
Don't think.
So obviously, if you check at 20, 30 feet like you do in a 737, it ain't going to work with this rate of descent. So seeing it's twice as high, I just brought the point at which I checked twice as high as well. So I checked at around 50, 60 feet. That's all I did. I think the landing, you know, there can be like a 2-step check you could potentially do. But it worked quite nicely. What's quite tricky though, there's no rad-out call-outs. So it's just judging that height. And from experience, I can roughly tell where 50 metres is. So there's about 50 metres there. I started checking. It's a bit of an aggressive check and just held the attitude. And yeah, that worked out quite nicely. Right when the touchdown zone where it needs to be. Perfect for City there, so pretty happy with that landing. Let's have a look then from the threshold. That's where it looks absolutely awesome on the replay. Great to hear the sound's working nicely. Let's go a little bit further back than that. So you can see the point, I think, where I went a little bit steep. So I was looking quite nice at that point. I think I just lowered the nose. There it is. So I came in a little bit steep at this point, went from 2 reds, 2 whites, 3 reds to 4 reds, and I was like, let's just quickly check that. Over the thresholds, probably started the check about here. And close the thrust levers. Oh yeah, that's lovely jubbly. And there, I had the spoilers out, guys. You saw here. I think the little speed brake. That's strange because on other replays, I definitely didn't have that stowed though. Yeah, you saw it, guys. I didn't have it stowed. I think on the replay it might go in, but we did have that out. It's a bit of a shame. I think on the test sector replays it was out. So I'm not sure what happened there. Let's have a little look here at this landing from this angle. Beautiful. Such a stocky aircraft. Look how wide the gear is as well. So wide, so wide. No reverses, of course, so it has such a massive wing for the size of the aircraft, you know, with all the stopping forces of the massive speed brake and the one at the back here. It doesn't need reverses, too complex to add all those features there.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Sweet.
Don't sink.
Right.
Don't sink.
I'll put you back in a
Don't
nice
sink.
replay view. Which one are we going to go for?
50,
This one
40,
or this one? I think it's going to be the wing view.
20, 10.
No, thank you very much for the $5. That's very kind of you.
Would have lost my potatoes and corned beef on that approach. Face vomiting
Oh.
grin.
What? Face vomiting grin. Unbelievable. Thank you very much, Noah, for your continued support for the $5. Pretty steep one. You'd have been fine. You'd have been fine. Just don't look outside and don't believe what's going on in your head. And have your seatbelt get ready, of course, just in case. Thank you very much, Noah, for your donation. Right then, guys. Well, that's the end of today's inaugural BAE 146 live stream. I hope you found that really enjoyable. As ever, to everyone that donated, thank you so much for the support shown. And to all the members as well for the continued support as ever, thank you so much. And to all the regular viewers, I hope you enjoyed this nice little flight from Dublin to City. Great aircraft, well done to Just Flights and the team behind that, which I think, let me get this right, Franda Design. I think it's Franda Design. So I know one of the devs here was answering some questions. So thanks for taking the time in my stream out of your schedule to answer some queries about the aircraft. That was awesome. Wicked. So yeah, not sure when I will next be live on the channel. I'll be probably going live on the gaming channel for a race of some sort tomorrow with the guys, and then maybe Sunday, Monday or Tuesday probably jump back into this again, if not the Zebo mod. A few things got lined up for Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I want to perhaps try to. Loads coming up as ever, guys. So as ever, thank you so much for popping in. Don't forget to like the video on your way out. Stay safe, and I'll see you on another live stream very soon.